Thanks for checking out the BPEL Process Manager Hello World Workshop Lab. My name is Eric Sheets. I'm a Principal Sales Consultant at Oracle. We have a couple of objectives in this lab. We will create a new application, then a new project, talk briefly about the different types of BPEL projects available to you, create a copy operation, write an XPath expression to concatenate or concat the text hello or whatever text you prefer to the text that we enter into the admin console. We will deploy our application and of course test it. A couple of assumptions exist before you fire up this demo. The SOA suite, the Oracle SOA suite, is installed and running in an environment you have access to. Likewise, JDeveloper Studio is installed and running in your environment, and a couple of connections are already set up, specifically a connection to the application server and a connection to the integration server. Let's get started. Okay, I have JDeveloper open. Let's right-click on Applications here and choose New Application from the dialog menu the menu that comes up there. I can call this whatever I want or a Java-safe name. A tip on the directory where I put my work is to be sure there are no spaces in the directories and to use a short directory path. I've found problems with spaces and or long directory paths. I'm not going to choose an application template. Click OK. I will cancel the Create Project here because I prefer the project dialog that is available to me when I come over here to Applications and right-click. So I right-click on Labs, I'll choose New Project, and here I'll choose my BPEL Process Project. I click OK, and I will choose the name of my project. I'll leave the default namespace there, and then I'll choose the type of BPEL project. So let's go with Hello World, and like I said, leave these defaults. I could choose from some templates, such as an existing blueprint that comes from a different Oracle product called Business Process Architect, and that's beyond the scope of today's discussion. And for this lab, we're going to use the synchronous BPEL process. Let's click Next and continue. I'll accept the defaults for the input schema and the output schema, and then finish. At this point, the BPEL Process Manager or JDeveloper is creating the artifacts that I need in order to build out my application. Let's close some windows and change some panes here so I have more real estate. And next step is to drag and drop an item from my component palette, a process activity from my component palette, and bring it over here to my canvas. The canvas is a graphical representation of the BPEL process. And I do this by clicking Assign, and then all the possible locations where the assign activity could be placed show up here. So I'm going to drag and drop that to the middle between the receive input and reply output icons. Now to configure the assign activity, and by the way, you can click here, let me double click. I could rename it if I want, or just leave it the way I want, or leave it with the default. The next step is to create a copy operation. So let's do that. I click Create, and a list of operations appear before me. I'll choose the copy operation. And now, remember, I'm copying from an expression. It's an expression because we're doing a concatenation, and I'm going to copy to a particular variable. Now the expression that I'll be writing is in XPath. Everything within BPEL is represented as XML. XPath can be cumbersome to write, so I will make use of the XPath expression builder. Let's click on that icon and get started. Over here I have a menu of functions available to me. The concat function is found within strings, string functions. So I choose string functions here, and I have concat. I'll double click the concat function and you see what appears up here. So I'll choose an apostrophe or a single quote, hello, space, single quote, comma, and then a space, and then my input variable. The input variable is going to be coming from the admin console that I'll demonstrate here momentarily. Now, a common mistake people make at this point is to simply single-click the client input variable right here. You want to double-click that, and the rest of the XPath expression is filled in for you. Now, because of the, let's see here, let me drag this up so I can get my screen resolution okay. I click OK. Now I need to choose an output variable. So on the left-hand side I have my expression. I'm concatenating the string hello to the input variable, and I want to write that to an output variable and then display that on the screen. So I'm going to choose, you saw how I navigated there through the output variable, and I chose the client result. I click OK. I scroll down here. On a larger screen resolution you won't have to do as much scrolling, of course. And I click OK. And at this point I'm going to go ahead and deploy. So a couple of assumptions were stated earlier, that you have a connection to an app server and an integration server. So by right-clicking on the project, I then navigate to deploy and then scroll down to the particular integration server that I want to deploy to. In all likelihood, you'll probably just have one. I happen to have multiple instances on my machine. So I'm going to deploy to that default domain. This is something I've deployed to before, and so I'm being prompted with a versioning choice. If this is the first time that I had been deploying this, I wouldn't have been asked for a version number. So I'm just going to accept the default of 1.0. It takes about 15 to 20 seconds for this to compile and get deployed to the application server. So while I'm waiting for that to happen, let me navigate to the BPEL Process Manager admin console, or BPEL control. And you see how I'm doing that right here. This is going to open up a web browser, which will go to my local admin console. You see here it's my machine name, port, and I have here a prompt. Let's go back to JDeveloper now and see if the deployment has completed. It's still working. Oh, there we go. 21 seconds. You may notice also this was done in Apache Ant. Alright, back to my admin console. Let's log in with the default username. It's OC4J admin. And if you've already been to one of our labs and followed the the prompting in the installation directions, you chose a password of welcome1. Welcome and the number 1. So I'll click login at this point. We will see the admin console, and lo and behold, there's Hello World. Let's test it out. I test it by clicking on it, and I scroll down. Here's my input variable that we were concatenating earlier. So let me type my name in, and let's spell my name properly, and then post the message. And I should see an XML response come back. Here it is. Hello, Eric Sheets. A couple of resources that might be useful to you is the URLs that I have included here. www.oracle.com, technology, tech, SOA. There we have some what's new information, developer downloads, podcasts, blogs, access to various discussion forums. The other URL you see there includes customer success stories, brochures, data sheets, white papers, and a description or access to information for the various components within the SOA suite, not just BPEL or JDeveloper. Blogs.oracle.com will redirect you to all kinds of blogs for Oracle technology. Wiki.oracle.com is another great resource, and if you're not really sure exactly what you want, give search.oracle.com a try. Thanks again for your time and attention, and look forward to seeing you at the next lab.